The Valiant Dawn cruised through the Epsilon sector at sublight speed, its corridors humming with the usual symphony of alien life. Alicia Chen walked briskly toward the cargo bay, her dark ponytail swinging behind her, secured as always with one of her colorful elastic hair ties. She'd been aboard the interstellar vessel for 6 months now, the only human among a crew of 300 aliens, and she'd learned to navigate the peculiar challenges of being the sole representative of her species. What she hadn't anticipated was becoming a walking curiosity shop. Human Alicia. The chittering voice belonged to Thresh, a mantis-like Vrexian whose compound eyes gleamed with barely contained excitement. Behind him stood his 2 offspring cubs, as the crew affectionately called them, their smaller frames practically vibrating with energy. "Morning, Cathresh," Alicia said, slowing her pace. "What can I do for you?" The Vrexian clicked his mandibles nervously. "I must confess something. My cubs, they have discovered an item of yours, a circular elastic device you use for hair containment." Alicia's hand instinctively went to her ponytail. She had several hair ties, but she'd noticed one missing from her quarters last week. "Oh, that's okay. They're just hair ties, not expensive or anything." Cathresh's antenna drooped. "You misunderstand. They have not merely discovered it, they have weaponized it." Before Alicia could process this statement, a small projectile whizzed past her ear and pinged off the corridor wall. She spun around to see the 2 Vrexian cubs, each holding a Y-shaped piece of scrap metal with her missing hair tie stretched between the prongs. They'd made slingshots. By the void, Alicia breathed, caught between horror and amusement. What followed was 3 weeks of escalating chaos. The Vrexian cubs, proud of their innovation, had demonstrated their creation to other young crew members. Within days, the Valiant Dawn's youth population had divided into factions, each sporting improvised slingshots made from whatever elastic materials they could scavenge. Alicia's hair ties became the most sought-after commodity on the ship. Albert Morrison, the ship's human engineer who'd joined 2 weeks after Alicia, found her in the observation deck, staring morosely out at the stars. "I heard you started a war," he said. Settling into the seat beside her, Alicia groaned. "I didn't start anything, I just existed. With hair ties." "The captain's not happy. Apparently, 3 consoles in engineering got hit by projectiles today. The Graxian ambassador's son launched a protein cube at the Thelian diplomat during dinner." Albert tried to suppress a grin. "They're calling it the Great Slingshot Uprising. It's not funny." "Albert, it's a little funny." The situation reached critical mass when Captain Vicana, imposing Thelian with scales like burnished bronze, summoned both humans to the bridge. His vertical pupils contracted as they entered. "Explain," he rumbled, his translator rendering his frustration in perfect standard English. "How a simple human grooming implement has transformed my disciplined vessel into a battlefield of primitive projectile warfare." Alicia straightened. "Captain, I never intended the cubs found something that worked like a slingshot," Albert interjected. "It's actually pretty ingenious. Humans have been using similar technology for thousands of years. Simple, effective, requires minimal resources." Verkan's massive head swiveled toward him. "You find this situation impressive?" "I find it inevitable," Albert said calmly. "You've got young, intelligent beings discovering physics through play. It's what curious minds do." The captain's scales rippled, an expression Alicia had learnt meant deep consideration. "The Galactic Council views humanity as dangerous, unpredictable. Your species barely survived your own world wars, yet within 2 centuries, you've spread across the stars." He paused. "Now I see why. You turn everything into a weapon, even hair accessories." Alicia felt a flash of defensiveness. "That's not fair, Captain. We also turn things into tools, into art, into solutions. Yes, humans can be dangerous, but we're also innovative. We adapt, and we share," Albert added, "whether we mean to or not." A notification chimed on the captain's console. He glanced at it, and something like a smile of Thelian's could smile crossed his features. "It seems the cubs have organized a truce. They wish to hold a competition. They've asked if you, human Alicia, would teach them proper slingshot safety and perhaps judge their accuracy contests." Alicia blinked. "They want me to legitimize their slingshot war. They want you to turn chaos into structure," Verkan corrected. "Another human trait I'm learning." Over the following weeks, Alicia and Albert established the ship's first interspecies youth club. They taught physics, trajectory, materials science, all wrapped in the framework of slingshot craftsmanship and friendly competition. Alicia donated her remaining hair ties to the cause, and Albert fabricated safe, standardized projectiles in engineering. The young crew members learned about momentum, potential energy, and responsible weapon handling. More importantly, they learned across species lines, sharing techniques and forming bonds that transcended their different biologies. Captain Verkan observed one training session from the doorway, his first officer beside him. The humans are peculiar, the first officer commented. Indeed, Verkan agreed. They arrive on our ships with nothing but grooming tools and engineering curiosity, and somehow forge unity through controlled chaos. He watched as Alicia demonstrated proper stance to a group of attentive younglings while Albert adjusted Agraxian cubs. Grip. The Council fears them, because they're predators, Verkan continued quietly. But perhaps that's not the real danger. The real danger is that they're predators who teach, who share, who turn every mistake into a lesson and every conflict into community. His first officer's ears flattened. You think they'll conquer the galaxy? No, Verkan said, a rumbling laugh building in his chest. I think they'll befriend it, and that, old friend, might be far more revolutionary. On the cargo bay floor, a Vrexian cub landed a perfect bullseye. The assembled younglings of 17 different species cheered as Alicia raised the winner's arm in victory. Albert caught her eye across the bay and grinned. Somewhere in the cargo hold, a box of hair ties sat ready for the next session. Humanity hadn't conquered the stars with warships or grand declarations. They'd done it with elastic bands and the irrepressible urge to teach. Anyone who would learn, and the galaxy would never be quite the same.